Buddhist teachings, in your loneliest moments, you learn the most important lessons. There are days when you feel as if the whole world is turning its back on you. A single casual comment from someone is enough to make your heart sink. A brief moment of silence can send your mind spiraling into a bottomless darkness. Events, losses, and pains arrive quietly, like a passing breeze, yet they can weigh on the heart for months. But within that collapse, something strange exists, the maturity of the soul. What we call suffering, loneliness, loss, or brokenness is sometimes nothing more than a doorway leading us into a deeper dimension of ourselves. When all the noise outside fades, when we have nowhere left to run, we are forced to face the truth we've pushed aside for so long. The path to awakening does not begin with light, but with darkness. And to move through that darkness, we must learn to sit with ourselves, with patience, with awareness, and with a courage no one can teach us, but that we must discover on our own. This is that journey, written in the spirit of Buddhist wisdom, grounded in human experience, and rooted in the truth that no one can save us except ourselves. Life has a strange characteristic. When we are happy, we rarely look inward. When we are in pain, the inside lights up instantly like a lamp switched on in the middle of the night. There are years when you live like a machine, working, laughing, interacting, chasing plans. Everything seems fine. But then one small moment, a misunderstanding, a breakup, a sleepless night, suddenly squeezes your heart as if an invisible hand were gripping it. Only then do you realize, there are things you've been avoiding for a very long time. It is in pain that long-hidden truths begin to surface. Those truths might be: you have been too emotionally dependent on others. You fear abandonment more than you imagined. You live to please others rather than yourself. You have been carrying wounds you never truly acknowledged. These things remain unseen when you are busy or happy. But when you are hurt, when you sit alone in the dark, the soul becomes so sensitive that nothing can be hidden anymore. Buddhism teaches, pain does not come to punish, it comes to awaken. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is a bell. And that bell rings only when we have traveled too far from our true nature. Pain does not destroy us. It dismantles the masks we have worn for far too long. When we sit alone in silence, we are not truly facing life, we are facing the mind. The mind is always speaking, judging, interpreting, creating endless stories. It makes you panic for no reason. It makes you fear things that have never happened. It keeps alive memories that should have faded long ago. It is the mind that hurts you more than the actual event. A hurtful sentence may last only seconds, but the mind keeps it for months. A small mishap may be nothing more than a stumble, but the mind turns it into a lifelong failure. A relationship may have ended peacefully, but the mind creates endless questions out of nowhere. Buddhism calls this ignorance, believing the voice in the head without realizing it is not you. When you do not understand the mind, you become its victim. When you observe the mind, you become its master. Silence is the doorway to that observation. Only when you sit down, breathe slowly, and look at each emotion without reacting, do you begin to see clearly. The mind is not your essence, it is only a stream passing by. And the miracle is this: when you stop getting swept away by the stories in your head, 80% of suffering disappears instantly. One of the deepest roots of suffering is emotional dependence. We don't see it. We think we love, we care, we are attached. But often, we are simply seeking something to fill our inner emptiness. We rely on others to feel valuable. We need praise to feel worthy. We need attention to feel lovable. And when these things don't come, we hurt. Emotional dependence has no sound, but it binds us more tightly than any chain. And the paradox of life is, the more you need someone to be happy, the less free you are. The more you expect someone to bring peace, the more anxious you become. The more you hope someone will heal you, the more wounded you feel. Because the nature of life is impermanence. No one can guarantee they'll stay forever. No one can always understand, always care, always offer what we hope for. Not because they are bad, but because they are human. When you place your happiness in someone else's hands, you are handing away the power of your own life. And what the Buddha wants us to understand is, happiness does not come from the outside. It grows from within, from awareness. When you learn to fill yourself, no one can make you empty. There is a kind of silence that is not escape, not exhaustion, and not the cold quietness of loneliness. It is noble silence, the kind that allows the dust of the mind to settle so you can see yourself clearly, like looking into a still, transparent lake. People fear silence, because when external noise fades, internal noise begins. Old unhealed memories, wounds we tried to forget, dreams left unfinished, fears we never dared to name. But in that moment of silence, A door opens. We begin to see that every suffering has a cause. No emotion appears without a reason. No sadness arrives solely to weaken us. Silence helps us trace the roots. Why do we react so strongly to a single comment? Why are we easily hurt? Why do we seek others to fill our inner emptiness? When we look deep enough, we realize, pain is not against us. It only wants to be heard. When it is heard, the heart resets, like a dry forest suddenly receiving rain. And then we understand. Silence is the temple within us. A place no one can take away. In life, there are two types of burdens. One that we can set down. And one that we cannot change no matter how much we want to. But the paradox is, humans cling to the second type. We cling to people who no longer wish to stay. We cling to a past that has already closed. We cling to praise and criticism. We cling to perfect standards that cannot be met. We cling to the illusion that life must go exactly as we want. This is the quickest way for the mind to be dragged through life. The Buddha teaches, letting go is not losing. Letting go is freeing yourself from the chain. There are things that, if not released, will hurt forever. There are people who, if not walked away from, will keep us trapped in the same cycle. There are expectations that, if not dissolved, will make us feel like failures forever. Letting go is not indifference. Letting go is understanding that you only control your actions, not the results. When you release what is beyond your grasp, the heart becomes light, like a leaf falling gently onto a river. You are no longer swept away by life's current, you become the one who steers your own boat. Many believe discipline is rigid, harsh, restrictive. But through the eyes of someone who has matured through suffering, discipline means something entirely different. Discipline is self-love. Without discipline, we are easily carried away by emotion. When sad, we quit. When tired, we delay. When bored, we stop. When afraid, we run. A life without discipline is a life ruled by mood, fragile, unstable, easily shaken. But with discipline, we act even when we don't feel like it. And this strengthens the mind day by day. Discipline is the fence that protects the mind from emotional storms. Discipline keeps us steady when the heart is weak. Discipline helps us do what is right, not what is easy. A disciplined person is not someone who never gets tired, but someone who does not let fatigue decide their life. If you look closely, you'll see most mistakes come from chasing comfort. We eat to soothe sadness. We procrastinate to stay comfortable. We hold on to bad relationships to avoid one-time pain. We choose the easy path out of fear of failing. But comfort is a numbing drug, it dulls our sense of life and gradually weakens us. Those who mature through suffering understand a simple but profound truth. If you chase comfort, you must pay with your inner strength. Life always delivers challenges at the right moments for us to grow. But if we reject them, we reject our own evolution. Some paths are hard at first but lead to freedom. Some emotions hurt at first but lead to wisdom. And there are moments when we must choose to become who we want to be, or remain who we are used to being. No one wants to fail. But no one truly grows without breaking. Failure is the strangest teacher. Not gentle. Not comforting. Not soft. But it teaches the deepest lessons. When we succeed, we rarely self-reflect. But when we fail, we are forced to face what we've avoided. Oversized pride. Lack of discipline. Blind confidence. Unresolved emotions. Failure strips away the illusions layered around us. It returns us to the starting point, where we face the raw truth. Those who dare face the truth without running enter an entirely new level of maturity. The Buddha teaches, in what breaks is an invitation to be reborn. Failure, when seen clearly, is the doorway back to our truest self. Humans make the mistake of believing we must feel inspired before taking action. But life does not operate according to inspiration. Emotions come and go, like clouds shifting in the sky. If you wait for the right feeling to begin, you will never begin. Willpower is what determines the course of your life. Willpower is the promise you make to yourself. Willpower is action independent of mood. Willpower is the foundation of freedom. All spiritual masters share one quality. They do what is right even when their emotions resist. Willpower helps us meditate even on chaotic days. Willpower helps us let go even when the heart wants to cling. Willpower helps us move forward even when fear fills our chest. And over time, emotions gradually shift to follow willpower. At that moment, mind and action no longer conflict, they align toward one direction. Inner freedom. When we look back on the path we've walked, we begin to understand. Every wound came to teach us something. Every sadness was a road back to clarity. Every failure was a lesson in disguise. Every moment of loneliness was an invitation to return to ourselves. Every silence was a chance for the mind to renew. Every act of letting go was a step toward freedom. True maturity is not about becoming cold or living without pain. It is understanding deeply. Suffering is our teacher. Stillness is our home. And the mind is the only place we ever need to return. When the mind is peaceful, the world is peaceful. When the mind is clear, the path is clear. When the mind is free, life becomes a wide-open journey, no longer dominated by fear, doubt, or the temporary storms of emotion. This is the true maturity of the soul, through suffering, through stillness, through letting go, through willpower, and ultimately, through understanding oneself.
Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to watch more interesting videos.